Part 56. Creation of the World, Binding God Simulator at the Beginning. Author, Yefeng Feng. Chapter 551. As soon as these words came out, Hyperzaton's virtual state disappeared at this moment. The freed-up power was mobilized by Bai-Ze and gathered in his chest. Hyperzaton's pincers spread out, greedily absorbing every particle. Between his two arms, a black glow stretched out. Ziobai, come on. There are still a few minutes, we are waiting for you to return triumphantly below. Yes, my camera is ready. Just waiting to help you take pictures of you winning the championship and holding the trophy. At this time, two familiar voices came to Bai-Ze's ears. In the audience, Xia Yunyu and Tang Qingcheng spoke one after another, singing in unison. If someone cheered for the two sisters Bai Xingguan, then naturally someone had to cheer for Bai-Ze. Bai-Ze, it all depends on you. You can't lose easily since the second stage of escort. The two women turned their heads and saw that it was Zhao Jinzu who was speaking now. Wang Tiangang beside him echoed in a rough voice, that's right. The whole province is watching you, don't let us down. Win the championship now. What the hell? Then, one after another, the entire Sulan competition area, a hymn that belongs to Bai-Ze. More and more people raised their hands and roared wantonly. The two forces collided, deafening and earth-shaking. In the field, as the voices became more and more, they became louder and louder. The power of the two seemed to have received endless blessings. Bai-Ze did not hold back, and the power of the two colors merged and filled the sky. Outside the space, every creature rose up one after another, and tens of thousands of light beams rushed into the sky, and the scene was unprecedented. Between the two pincers of Hyperjeton, the beam of light suddenly spread into a sphere with a loud bang. Countless particles flew and rushed into the interior, and the latter held it high above his head. The scorching energy fluctuations caused ripples in the surrounding space, as if they were squeezed apart. This was Bai-Ze's strongest attack in his life. It was also the strongest move that Hyperzeton could use after awakening. Hyperzeton, let's decide the outcome with one move. Starstorm. Bai-Ze raised his clenched fist, and his pupils suddenly contracted. In an instant, the two seemed to be connected in mind, and an extreme force burst out. Behind Hyperzeton, the shadows of the gods in the sky surrounded him, and thousands of streamers danced, holding up this supreme virtual master. Ding! Zhitten! Boom! Finally, with the last electromagnetic sound falling, its figure flew up at high speed. With the divine power raised in his hand, the surging light explosion was projected and went straight to Hormungandr. This attack was so strong that the space wall shook just by sliding, and the zenith became shaky. On the opposite side, witnessing the attack at super speed, Bai Xingguan and Bai Xingran put their hands together and pointed forward. Sister. I understand. Bai Xingguan raised her lips, her eyes were firm, let everything end here. The power of the Godhead. Bai Xingran nodded, leaving no trace of the godly power. The power of the Godhead. Rule of the underworld. Suddenly, the voices rang out, the godly power burst out, and a gust of wind rose from the bottom to the top. Two white skirts fluttered, and 3,000 black hairs fluttered in the wind. Under the surging wind and clouds, the backs of the two people were like warriors facing a giant dragon, with no regrets and no regrets. Hormungandr raised his head high, his pupils were scarlet. In his mouth, endless godly power like the ocean gathered. When the underworld temple opened up, the divine light was like a long rainbow, bursting out with an unstoppable posture. It was surging and brilliant, as if the ancestor dragon was galloping, swinging its body, and rushing straight into the enemy. Wherever the two forces passed, everything was flattened, and the power of heaven and earth resounded. Countless people opened their throats to accompany it. Inside and outside the field, there were also creators thousands of miles away, all over the provinces of the Federation, all in the team. At this moment, there were not only the 10 principals, 8 star commanders, and many senior officials of the Federation. Even the god of the Federation, the most supreme existence, did not dare to breathe. Just his pupils widened, quietly waiting for the end to come. With their own beliefs, no one wanted to lose this game. But unfortunately, a champion must be scored. Here it comes. I saw a spectator shouting loudly. The next second, 2 devastating forces collided at the center of the space. With a vibration of boom, the entire endless void was shaking. The fluctuation was so large that even the screen outside the field was shaking. Under the full strength attack of the 2 sides, neither lost to the other. Mutual blending, repulsion, resistance, and gradually dividing the midfield. But with such a huge energy fluctuation, the players outside the field dared not say anything. Because if it were them, they would be evaporated instantly as soon as they faced each other. Go, Bai Xingguan. Defeat him. You must win, Bai Zi. It all depends on you. The noise continued, like thunder. Under the crowd, both sides were unreserved and exhausted all the divine power in their bodies. Ran, hold on to me. Bai Xingran heard it and nodded fiercely, yes. Their tightly clasped fingers turned slightly white. Suddenly, a series of memory pictures shuttled through the minds of the 2 sisters. There were scenes when they were just born, scenes when they first met, and scenes when the principal of the imperial capital was teaching with painstaking advice. Every bit was warm and beautiful. These things are extremely important, and at this moment they have become a source of power. Gradually, Hormungandr seemed to sense something, and increased his fire power, forcibly suppressing Bai Zi's light wave a little. Too strong. That's it. 2 goddesses, suppress him. The audience clenched their fists and couldn't help shouting. At the same time, Bai Xingran also saw some pictures that moved her. He increased his grip again and held Bai Xingguan tightly. She didn't know why until these memory fragments were exposed. It turned out that someone had been silently protecting her behind her back, so that she would not be swallowed by that energy. Boom! In an instant, Bai Xingran burst out with unstoppable power. The beam in Hormungandra's mouth increased again, pushing the opponent out of the midfield completely. Campus, room, bookshelf, wooden table, dim. Sister, we were really trapped for a long time before. Bai Xingran shook his head. Beside her, Bai Xingguan, who covered her eyes slightly, couldn't help but waver her eyes and glanced at her. Sister, if this battle is over, let's go out for a walk. I want to accompany you through thousands of mountains and rivers. Bai Xingran showed a gentle smile, his eyes were firm and unwavering. Bai Xingguan opened her mouth and paused. Finally, she closed it again, also turning into a smile. Okay. Then let's do our best to win this game. As the voice fell, the shadow of Tianzun appeared and blended behind the 2 of them. Between heaven and earth, the frenzied attacks intensified, and the rising rays were comparable to a galaxy cannon, destroying the world. Bai Zi's attack was directly suppressed. So close. Even the surrounding space was strongly shaken. At this moment, the 4 walls were even more overwhelmed, and after a crisp sound, cracks appeared. Creation of the World, Binding God Simulator at the beginning. Author, Yefeng Feng. Chapter 552. There's a chance. Sure. Several principals followed, and they were so excited that they took a step forward and almost shouted. Hypageddon was about to lose his strength, but Bai Zi behind him looked calm and calm. He just grinned and smiled easily. At the same time, when the line of sight is facing a certain direction, it seems that one can travel through time and space and see a certain scene. Outside, the god of the Federation felt a throbbing in his heart. For some reason, he sighed helplessly. Yes. The seemingly flawless plan was laid out for 18 years. Right before his eyes, it was broken by this young man. Fortunately, the ending developed in a better direction. Perhaps, this is not a miracle? At least now, he wants to see how bright this miraculous light is. Can we penetrate his eternal concept? In an instant, Bai-Ze withdrew his gaze. To the surprise of the whole audience, thousands of divine lights came from nowhere and got behind Hypatian. I saw its eyes flashing with yellow crystal light, and a surge of power gathering into the sky. The last 3 minutes. Bai Xingguan, Bai Xingran, you must have exhausted all your strength, right? Then now, it's time for me to take action. Bai-Ze stepped forward, and a formation circle spread out behind him. He raised his hands, and 2 different divine powers gathered together, surrounding them from bottom to top. On a spiritual level, it seems that he has some kind of connection with Hypergeton. I saw that Bai-Ze suddenly pushed forward violently. There was a loud explosion, and the endless divine thread swept away the sky. Just use this blow to penetrate the eternity. The sound traveled millions of miles, and Hypergeton exploded with divine power, scattering like fireworks. With the influx of divine power behind him, the light ball in his hand began to gradually grow larger, and the light waves became more and more fierce. Hormungandr was shocked and his pupils widened. The attack that was just hit back was bounced back in the blink of an eye. Outside the stadium, the audience was also in awe. But how could Hormungandr give up so easily? He has shouldered all the faith. Never fall down easily. Roar. The sound is like thunder and the waves are turbulent. The 2 forces returned to the midfield with full firepower and a desperate stalemate. However, the power in Hypergeton's body seems to be endless and inexhaustible. Last 2 minutes. Not long after the stalemate, the beam began to push forward in reverse. Hormungandr used all his strength to resist, but no matter how hard he tried, he could not reverse the defeat. The beams of light were piled up in front of him little by little, the space was vibrating, and the walls were shattering. When the 2 sisters saw this, their faces turned pale. Even though they exerted all their strength, they could not resist the advance of the beam. Moreover, they can feel that the opponent's momentum is still soaring. Already almost. I can't resist it. Sister. Bai Xingran said with difficulty. I can't resist anymore, Bai Xingguan shouted hoarsely. Under the anxious eyes of the audience, the 2 sisters gritted their teeth. The beam of light approached Hormungandr's eyes, and his divine power almost bottomed out. Finally, unable to hold on any longer, the light wave shot straight into the sky in an unstoppable manner, tearing through the long night. Ah! With a cry of surprise, the 2 sisters were bounced away one after another. Without the blessing of divine power, the giant pillar immediately penetrated Hormungandr. The snake's roar is like a dragon's roar, which can't be concealed even though it's thousands of miles away. Immediately afterwards, the majestic power has not stopped yet. The space wall is unstoppable and will instantly fall apart if it is touched. Billions of broken mirrors fell from the sky, and it seemed like a heavy rain had fallen. The endless virtual realm is destroyed, and the real world comes. Hormungandr was seriously injured and fell from the sky. That beam of light continued to extend, breaking through the earth, flying out of the sky, and stepping into the universe. Countless spectators raised their heads and witnessed the brilliant colors like shooting stars, streaking across the starry sky and night. It seems to be able to penetrate time, space, past, and future. And even that eternal and unchanging universe. 1 minute countdown. Every principal and commander seeing raised their heads at this moment. Wherever the divine power passes, meteorites explode, planets disintegrate, and star clusters are destroyed. The light that spreads out illuminates thousands of dark places. chasing the ultimate light, raising everything in the world to the ground. Until it reaches the end of the universe, it finally turns into a ball of fireworks and explodes into hundreds of billions of scattered light. It's like a miraculous star descending, filling the galaxy with colors. Seeing this scene, everyone was stunned and so surprised that they couldn't even utter half a sentence. Only the god of the Federation couldn't stop shaking his head, and his expression was even more excited. Ha ha! Ha ha ha! His ethereal voice echoed loudly, shouting to the sky. Pointing his finger at the screen, he blurted out, "This attack is unprecedented. It's as far away as 100,000 years, millions, tens of millions, or even billions of years in the future. I don't believe that anyone can surpass today's scene." After saying that, the god of the Federation came to the forefront and clapped quickly. In a state of shock, the referees and senior federal officials also applauded upon seeing this. But it can still be seen from their horrified eyes that they have not recovered much. Outside the stadium, after a brief silence, thunderous cheers erupted. At this time, Bai Zi stood opposite the two sisters, showing a smile as bright as spring breeze. "It's over, both of you." After reacting, Bai Xingguan and Bai Xingran got up from the ground in a daze. Looking at Hepajeton, it was unharmed, with only heat rising from its body surface. As for Hormungandr, a large hole was pierced in the middle of the snake's body. The two eyes turned white, and the whole body collapsed in the center of the world, like a huge mountain range that stretched endlessly. Obviously, although it was not dead, it had completely lost its ability to fight. The game lasted 30 seconds and entered the final countdown. The two sisters watched this and looked at Bai Zi, who was smiling on the opposite side. Finally, after looking at each other, they sighed. "Referee. We choose to admit defeat." The two spoke almost at the same time. Without waiting for the referee to react, the power of the world had already intervened. All creatures were controlled and unable to move. After a short settlement, a slightly cold mechanical sound resounded throughout the world. Ding! After system detection, the contestants from the imperial capital are Bai Xingguan and Bai Xingran. All creatures have lost their ability to fight. Therefore, congratulations to the contestant from Sulan province, Bai Zi, for winning. Ding! Congratulations to the contestant for winning the championship in this year's national competition. The sound lasted for a long time and was deafening. When the mechanical sound really sounded, the two sisters had nothing to regret. At least, they fought until the last moment. The power of that blow was enough to penetrate the future and the past, and it was not something they could resist at all. Losing is not embarrassing. However, in the spectator seats, when the sound sounded, Xia Yunyu immediately covered her mouth and burst into tears. Not far away, including Tang Qing Cheng, all the contestants from the Sulan competition area were also like this. Won. Really won. It took a month and experienced countless fights and competitions. They defeated the myth and broke the almost desperate fate. On this sacred stage, we will give up everything and the sound of victory will resound throughout the world. Honor will reach the top. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Creation of the World, Binding God Simulator at the Beginning. Author, Yefeng Feng. Chapter 553. Bai Zi looked around and listened to the mechanical sounds ringing in his ears. This is the best ending. After all, the soul state is still there, and if one side is completely destroyed, it is likely to die. So in the end, one side must admit defeat. Bai Zi can't do it, so the two sisters have to do it. It just so happens that in the last few seconds of the game, all the implementations were completed. At this moment, endless cheers filled every corner of the venue. The principals were immersed in excitement. The two principals of Sulan province, especially Principal Tianzhou, didn't recover for a long time. It was Principal Yanyun who was beside him who quickly pulled him. "Don't be stunned, let's go. The champion is born, we still have to award the prize." "Oh, oh." After realizing it, Principal Tianzhou licked his dry lips and ran down the referee seat with them at a fast pace. At the same time, the frenzy of divine power gradually dissipated. Just when Bai Xingguan woke up, a strong light enveloped her. A human figure that looked exactly like the one in the picture slowly stepped out from the bright light. There was a look of astonishment below. There really were two goddesses. But when Bai Xingran appeared, Bai Xingguan didn't seem very excited. They had confirmed it before, so the two of them just hugged each other. On the opposite side, Bai Zi also woke up from the battle world. At this moment, the four eyes met, and the atmosphere seemed to freeze. Bai Xingguan spoke first, tilted her head and smiled, "Congratulations." Next to him, Bai Xingran also hurriedly echoed, "Congratulations on winning the championship." Before Bai Zi spoke, a group of principals and Xin Shui came one after another. "Good, kid, I knew you could do it." Wang Ho took a brisk step and came behind Bai Zi. He slapped his palm heavily on his back. "Boy, I've always been optimistic about you. I didn't expect you to live up to my expectations." Bai Zi's eyes twitched, and he smiled crookedly, "Haha, you want to slap me to death." As a result, Wang Ho continued to slap heavily as if he didn't hear it. Not far away, the principal of Tianzhou opened his hands and walked towards Bai Zi quickly. "Bai Zi, you lived up to everyone's expectations, congratulations on winning the championship. I'm so excited today at my age. After the game, my Tianzhou Academy has been completely proven by you." Wang Ho supported Bai Zi's left shoulder, and the principal of Tianzhou supported Bai Zi's right shoulder. "It's all right," Bai Zi said modestly. "Ha ha ha. Not only your Tianzhou Academy. After this game, even the entire Sulan province will benefit from it. My Sulan Academy will also be able to be associated with the champion in the future." At this time, the principal of Sulan also came over with a smile on his face. As he stroked his beard, he couldn't help but admire Bai Zi. All the efforts he made before were worth it. Bai Zi defeated the goddess and really won the championship. He was from Sulan province and had fought against Sulan Academy. These 2 points alone were enough to make Sulan Academy, and even all the academies in the huge Sulan province, benefit from it. "You are joking. Without your support, I am afraid I would not be here today." Principal Sulan was particularly happy when he heard it. "Good, good. You are worthy of being the champion, you are so graceful." Surrounding Bai Zi, several people were flattering him. Lian Dushua, Old Hong, and several other principals also joined in. As for the several upper gods of the federal family, they looked up and down at Bai Zi from a distance. They were shocked by Bai Zi's strength and shook their heads helplessly. No wonder their descendants joined forces and were defeated by this guy. Now it seems not strange. That rich divine power seems to be able to swallow the world. Especially the last blow, let alone the monarch level, I'm afraid even the emperor can withstand it. Shocked. It's hard to imagine the young people nowadays. Purple Lightning Thunder Mother said with emotion. Yes. Our era will soon be over. I bet that the future federation will have a period of rapid development. Many rules and theories of the old era will be broken one by one, and the principles will be proven. He, start from now, the ice god spoke with an affirmative tone. Maybe one day in the future, everyone will have dual godhood, maybe. Fortunately, these old guys can live for a long, long time. At least, they can see the arrival of that day. In the heat of the moment, the principal of the imperial capital stood in the distance, hesitant. Hey, don't pull me, don't pull me. Oh, don't hesitate, Come here. The principal of Tianjing didn't say much nonsense, and pulled the principal of the imperial capital to Bai Ziyi. Looking at each other, Bai Ziyi's mouth curled. Principal Tianjing. He, congratulations. Principal Tianjing congratulated. The perspective shifted, Bai Ziyi said in a low voice, Principal Imperial Capital. He. Principal Imperial Capital laughed twice, great, congratulations on winning the championship. After saying that, he pretended to be calm and walked past Bai Ziyi. He walked all the way to the two sisters, his face full of kindness. Principal Bai Xingguan said softly. A beautiful temperament emanated faintly. Bai Xingran originally wanted to call him an old man, but in the end he didn't say anything. Oh. The principal of the imperial capital looked at the two sisters with a look of relief in his eyes. Okay. He patted Bai Xingguan and Bai Xingran on the shoulders, one in each hand. I'm glad you're all right. You played beautifully today. I noticed it before, but I didn't expect you were really twins. I'm confused, old man. The principal of the imperial capital has always hoped that the goddess would win. In this way, the glory of the imperial capital can be preserved, and his position as the principal can be preserved. But at this moment, his words made Bai Xingran waver. Obviously he lost, but the other party still looked indifferent. In the midst of the noise, everyone was basically gathered. Bai Ziyi smiled and waved his hands. And suddenly, a gust of wind came from a distance. When the senior officials of the Federation retreated, Bai Ziyi finally saw a familiar figure walking slowly from the opposite side. He instantly resumed his smile, his hands drooped naturally, and he looked particularly calm. You're here. He. Bursts of ethereal laughter came from the mask of the god of the Federation. Congratulations on winning the championship. He stopped and stood in front of Bai Ziyi. At this time, all the senior officials of the Federation took the initiative to give up their positions. Bai Ziyi looked at him directly, his face unchanged. How is it? I didn't break my promise. I said I would come back, and I will definitely come back. After a moment of silence, the god of the Federation suddenly sneered. Yeah. What you did shocked even me. The god of the Federation approached Bai Ziyi and patted his shoulder. I should thank you, because you made me realize something. Finally, congratulations on winning the championship. Creation of the World, Binding God Simulator at the beginning. Author, Yefeng Feng. Chapter 554. With a sigh, the god of Federation adjusted his tone. Okay. This moment belongs to you, and then get ready to hold the trophy. When everyone's perspective followed the god of Federation. In the center of the floating platform, a window on the ground opened. In the pipe below connected to it, a silver trophy inlaid with colorful diamonds slowly rose from the pipe. Finally, countless spotlights gathered, the colorful rays of light spread, and the trophy was placed directly in front of Bai Ziyi. Cheers, applause, and praise were deafening. Bai Ziyi stared at the rising trophy and was stunned for a second. Go quickly. The god of Federation patted his back. Then, Bai Ziyi did not wait any longer. He took a slow step and began to walk towards the trophy. Moved away from the front of the god of Federation, stepped past the principals, and stepped past the stars. They all stood on both sides, smiling, showing an extremely expectant attitude. Just like the ministers welcoming the king's coronation. To be honest, this road is not long. But now in Bai Ziyi's eyes, it seems to be infinitely magnified. There are thousands of cheers in the audience, and the stage is full of expectations. At this moment, everyone is welcoming the arrival of the new god. God of the rising star, go forward. Hold that, the highest honor that belongs to you alone. At this time, the god of the Federation couldn't help but speak. he suddenly felt that such a scene was particularly appropriate and must be accompanied by an accompaniment. Whoosh whoosh. The wind is singing, and the world is witnessing. Bai Zi finally came to the trophy. Off the stage, Xia Yunyu, Tang Qing Chen, Wang Na, and many other members of Sulan province stood up one after another. They looked solemnly, looking at Bai Zi holding the base of the trophy with both hands. He took a deep breath, and in a breath of time, it seemed that all his memories were shuttled through. Then, with a firm look, he raised the proof that symbolized the king high. Click. The sound of the camera rang out, recording this most glorious scene. In an instant, golden raindrops flew all over the sky and sprinkled all over the stadium. Millions of stars twinkled, reflecting the moment that belonged to the king alone. That, the true meaning of the national competition. Champion. Bai Zi. Good job, Bai Zi. We are the champions. The voices that came one after another kept echoing in his ears. Enjoying this moment, Bai Zi closed his eyes, and countless applause sounded for him. Even the principal of the imperial capital saw this scene, and brought the two sisters to silently applaud for him from a distance. Seeing this, the god of the Federation was a little moved for some reason. This moment was really gorgeous. So gorgeous that he might remember it for a lifetime. It's really a brand new era. Maybe in who knows how many years, I, the god, will retire. I really look forward to what that era will look like when it is handed over to you. Shaking his head, the god of the Federation took a breath and stepped forward, attacking from behind Bai Zi. Okay. Next, we have the most important item. Bai Zi was interrupted and turned around in confusion. Receive the prize. Did you forget? The champion prize of this competition, the power of origin. At this point, Bai Zi realized that there was a champion prize. But at this time, the cover that preserved the power of origin had been easily opened with the casual wave of the god of Federation. In an instant, colorful rays of light scattered on the floating platform. A pure and extreme power emerged. Bai Zi stared at the soft energy quietly under the dazzling light. At the same time, the two sisters were about to leave, but were stopped by Bai Zi. Wait. Turning their heads away, the two showed puzzled expressions. The latter went straight forward and pointed at the power of origin. If I remember correctly, this power of origin should be your companion divine object, right? We agreed before that you just need to admit defeat. So, take this thing back. The two sisters were stunned at first, and then raised their eyebrows. So it was this matter. Bai Zi. Since you are the champion, then this championship prize should belong to you. Although, it used to be our companion divine object. Hearing this, Bai Zi wanted to say something. But the two sisters interrupted him first. Besides, Bai Xingguan and Bai Xingran looked at each other and both showed a gentle smile. In the end, they stared at Bai Zi at the same time. We don't need it anymore. This is all thanks to you, we should thank you. This power of origin is our companion divine object, and the power it contains is immeasurable. Just treat it as a thank you gift, please be sure to accept it. The two sisters were unanimous in their attitude and were determined to let Bai Zi accept this power of origin. After all, at the beginning, because of the devouring disease, the companion god object was used to save their lives. Now that devouring has been cured by Bai Zi, the companion god object can only enhance their strength a little bit. Coincidentally, the strength has also been enhanced by Bai Zi. This companion god object is no longer useful. The two sisters directly regarded it as a thank you gift, and Bai Zi must accept it. Helplessly, he had no choice. In this case, I won't refuse. After saying that, Bai Zi opened the system backpack. A burst of space power emerged, and the original power was completely absorbed. That's it. All members were present, amidst laughter and cheers, for this national competition. A perfect ending. Noob. As soon as they got off the fighting platform, Xia Yunyu pounced on him. She hugged Bai Ziyi tightly and rubbed her little face. Immediately afterwards, Tang Qingcheng, Wang Na and others also arrived one after another. There are also Zhao Jinzu, Wang Tiangang and many Surin province players following behind. Xiaobai, congratulations on winning the championship. Xia Yunyu went up, gave Bai Ziyi a quick kiss, and kissed her. Yes, I took pictures for you of the scene when you won the championship. When the time comes, it can be developed into photos, Tang Qingcheng agreed. I knew you could beat that goddess. I just didn't expect that they were actually two people. Wang Na was a little tired, and a trace of sadness appeared on her face. She could feel that Bai Ziyi might be able to compete with her now. What a monster! Afterwards, Zhao Jinzu took Wang Tiangang and a group of Sulan players to congratulate Bai Ziyi. This enthusiasm made Bai Ziyi a little busy. In addition to them, Muhan and other gods, Zhang Tianyuan, Qin Xinlian, and others also ran over. In addition to congratulating Bai Ziyi, they also announced their enthusiastic fighting spirit. In the future, we will definitely catch up with Bai Ziyi. Humph, it's a pity that I lost to you in the second stage of the competition. I really hope that I will have the opportunity to fight you head-on in the future, Muhan said with his arms crossed. The corner of Bai Ziyi's mouth raised an arc. I can't ask for it. That's good. It's getting late, let's go back first. Waiting for tomorrow, you will completely shock the whole country. Waving, Muhan put his hands in his pockets and led the gods away. He left behind a silhouette that was quite handsome. The rest of the people also came forward. Bai Ziyi, as my new goal. From now on, just wait patiently. With a wave of his hand, Qin Xinlian also left the venue with others. There were also Zhang Tianyuan, Zhao Qi, Wang Teng, and Long Aotian, all of whom waved their hands and left one by one. I'll be right behind you until I catch up with you. Goodbye. Bai Ziyi watched them go away one by one and gave a helpless smile. The future will be troublesome. At the same time, amid warm cheers, the two sisters Bai Xingguan and Bai Xingran also walked over. Bai Ziyi, we are also ready to go back. Yeah, Bai Ziyi nodded. Anything else? Bai Xingguan and Bai Xingran, you look at me and I look at you. Then, he said in a somewhat unspeakable voice, 7 more days, oh no, 6 days. There's a party, I hope you can come. Reunion. Yeah, Bai Xingran nodded firmly, celebrate your birthday. After saying this, Bai Ziyi understood. Don't worry, I will go. Okay. Be sure to remember. Then let's go. After hearing Bai Ziyi's promise, the two sisters seemed quite happy and quickly ran away. Only Xia Yunyu, who was left in the middle, could smell something wrong. Like, there are some more troublesome competitors. Why are you dazed? At this time, Bai Ziyi patted her back. Then, he looked at the crowd. Let's leave quickly. Prepare. Go home. Creation of the World, Binding God Simulator at the beginning. Author, Yefeng Feng. Chapter 555. Chapter 555 Happy Birthday. 7 days later. Ha ha ha, this wine is especially sweet today. Yeah, good days go with good wine, even the mood has become better. Haha, I didn't expect it. After Bai Ziyi won the championship, our Sulan province will be directly promoted to the second capital. In the future, I will be considered a rich man. This description is appropriate, but in the future, there will inevitably be friction with the imperial capital. After we finish drinking, let's go to the Genesis building to take 2 tasks and contribute to the construction of a new home. Good. Sulan province was full of joy. As expected, after the end of that battle, Bai Ziyi's reputation spread all over the country. After the 7-day fermentation period, now when you open the mobile TV, you can see Bai Ziyi on all channels. And various video playbacks of his winning the championship, Gaoran's editing, etc. As his native city, Sulan province directly passed the federal meeting with a unanimous vote. Tianzhou City, where Tianzhou Academy is located, is temporarily designated as the second capital. Because of Bai Ziyi's joining, the entire Tianzhou Academy. It also crushed the Imperial Capital Academy for the first time and became the #1 academy in the country in the new year. It is estimated that it will remain the #1 for at least 12 years in the future. Of course, after a reincarnation of 12 years, without Bai Ziyi, I don't know what the result will be. Unfortunately, Bai Ziyi is here now. He is too strong. So strong that the world can't accommodate him. For the new generation, no one can match him for at least 12 years in the future. Xiaobai, why are you dawdling and you have to come back to see it? What's so good about a bungalow? If you delay any longer, we will be late for the banquet. In the bungalow allocated by Nangao, Xia Yunyu, in a dress, urged from behind. Bai Ziyi walked inside and looked around, full of memories. This was where he stayed at the beginning. After traveling around and coming back, he missed it. Of course, before that, he also went to see the principal of Nantian High School. When he came back, the principal's face was full of kindness. By the way, he also explained to Bai Ziyi some interesting stories about Nanjing University. At that time, they made a fuss and missed Bai Ziyi, a person who would be famous in the world in the future. It was too late to regret. The president of Nanjing University was furious. In a fit of anger, the tutor at that time was dismissed. Cao Ben, the president of the Nanjing University Student Union, was demoted again and again. He couldn't even keep the team leader, and went back to the time before liberation and became an ordinary student. For this reason, he locked himself up for several days, looking like he had no desire to live. After all, who would have thought that Bai Ziyi, who was despised by himself at that time, could become the national champion on this day in the future? Leading Tianzhou, leading the entire Sulan province, and achieving the peak. Okay. I just came back to see, let's go now. Bai Ziyi turned his head. By the way, have you met your mother? Xia Yunyu heard this and nodded gently, yes. After thinking about it for a while, her pretty face blushed, and she didn't say anything afterwards. I just remember that when I went back, my mother pulled me. What was the development? When will I get married? Have you ever made wontons? Ahem, okay, let's go quickly. After that, Xia Yunyu pulled Bai Ziyi and left. Outside the house, a luxurious helicopter had been waiting for a long time. Tang Qingcheng, wearing a purple gift dress, sat in the back row. After the game, she also went back to the family. This time, the past grudges were completely resolved. Of course, it was not her who admitted her fault, but the whole family came to smile with her. There was no way, who told her to be one of the top 16 in the country, and she had a good relationship with Bai Ziyi and had formed a team together. The whole family couldn't even lick her, how could they ask her to apologize? And this helicopter was provided by Tang Qingcheng's family to help them go to the banquet. Come up, both of you, we are ready to go. In the independent private manor of the Imperial Capital Academy. Today, the two sisters Bai Xingguan and Bai Xingran officially turned 19 years old. Wait for the helicopter to slowly land. Bai Ziyi and the others were surprised to find that many people had already arrived. Not only did they invite them to this banquet, but also Zhang Tianyun from Yanyun province, Zhao Qi from Tianjing province, and Qin Xinlian from Yang province. And Muhan and 6 others, plus Long Aotian and Wang Tang, and a group of imperial capital gods. Even Tan Zian and Tan Chen from Zhou province came. At first glance, they were all familiar faces. Thanks to Bai Zi, Zhao Jinzu and Wang Tiangang were also there, and Zhong Peng was sitting not far away. Look, they're here. At this moment, everyone's eyes were focused on Bai Zi. Seeing him coming, the two sisters looked happy and immediately stepped forward to greet him. As the birthday stars today, they all wore white dresses, the only difference was the flowers on their heads, one on the left and one on the right. Bai Zi, you're finally here. Let's go in quickly, the principal and the others are waiting, and the banquet is missing you. Seeing this, Bai Zi nodded a little embarrassedly. The people next to him no longer waited and stood up one after another. Opening the door to the banquet hall, a burst of light hit us. Inside, it was magnificent and luxurious. Tables and chairs, desserts, drinks, main dishes, everything was available. In the middle, the principal of the imperial capital was gathering with several other principals, talking and laughing, looking very happy. From the Star Alliance Xing's Hawaii side, only Wang Ho and Dushu Ahong Lao came. Others have to guard the border, so there is nothing they can do if they can't spare time. Of course, since Wang Ho is here, Wang Na must be there too. Although she seemed a little reluctant, she still showed up as scheduled for Bai Zi's sake. Bai Zi, you came in a hurry, you probably didn't have breakfast, right? Come on, I'll take you to get something to eat. Bai Xingguan smiled beautifully, pulled Bai Zi and walked inside. Bai Xingran followed behind, frowning, sister, you are cheating. When Xia Yunyu saw this, her heart sank. Hey! Wait, Bai Zi, don't walk so fast. While talking, Xia Yunyu quickly caught up. She stayed in Tangqing Cheng and looked at each other with the rest of the people. After giving a wry smile, they entered the banquet one after another. Bai Zi, congratulations on winning the championship. I didn't even expect that you could really defeat that hateful guy. In front of the dessert table, Wang Na leaned into Bai Zi's ear and whispered the second half of the sentence. Haha, the person you hate is most likely Xingran, but she is much better now. In the past, it was all just for outsiders to see. Wang Na glanced at him, ahem, it doesn't matter who it is. Anyway, I'm not that annoying to them now. But Wang Na paused, Junior, I just don't know if you will have time in the future. Would you like to come to my senior's house as a guest? My cat can do backflips. Wang Na exhaled like a orchid, her tone was frivolous. As soon as these words came out, Bai Zi's face suddenly stiffened. Forget it, I'm afraid of danger. He quickly refused. This made Wang Na pouted. Ahem. That, Bai Zi. If you have time, why not come to our Yang University to exchange and study? Just in time, I also want to discuss it with you again. Behind him, Qin Xinlian interrupted the conversation between Wang Na and Bai Zi. Bai Zi turned his head and the hero arrived. Okay, I'm very happy. And I, Tianjing Academy welcomes you at any time. I forfeited the match with you, even though I thought there was nothing wrong with that. Window. Tabula equals window. Tabula. Tabula.push, mode, thumbs feed -01, container, tabula below article feed, placement, below article feed, target. Type, mix. But at the end of the day, I still feel a little regretful. Zhao Qi came over with a glass of red wine. Okay, definitely next time. The same goes for Yanyun Academy. That's right, Zhou Academy is very happy. Everyone came one after another, and Bai Zi responded quickly. Sitting opposite, Xia Yunyu couldn't help but frown when she saw this scene. Bai Zi. What a busy man. From now on, I'm afraid I won't be able to bear it anymore. Xia Yunyu, oh. Today's banquet was crowded and lively, and the scene was extremely warm. So, time flies by. Soon, night falls. However, the manor was still brightly lit and bustling with people. Ha ha ha. I suddenly thought, since everyone is here today, how about we take a photo? At this time, Zhao Qi suddenly stood up and said. Everyone present heard this and looked at each other. I agree. Just take it as such, let's bury the hatchet. Mu Han clapped his hands and also echoed. I'm fine. I think this is very extravagant. Just do it. Just in time, there is a camera in the manor, I'll go get it. By the way, bring the principal and others with us. While talking, everyone moved very quickly. After a while, even Wang Ho was pulled over to the empty space in the manor. Bai Ziyi was dressed in a suit and was forced into the C position by everyone. The two sisters stood behind the camera and made some adjustments. Okay, everyone, get ready to look at the screen. Give an order. Visible. Principal of Yang University, Principal Zhou, Principal Yanyuan, Principal of Imperial Capital, Principal Tianzhou, Principal Sulin, and Principal Tianjing. Hong Lao, Wang Ho, Du Shui. Yehui, Zhu Wei, Mu Han, Yan Yan, Hong Yan, Liao Yang, Zhong Peng. Tanzian, Long Aotian, Wang Teng, Zhang Tianyuan, Zhao Qi, Qin Xinlian, Tan Chen. Zhao Jinzu, Xia Yunyu, Bai Ziyi, Tang Qing Cheng, Wang Na, Wang Tiangang. Arrange them in order to form a group of echelons. In the front row, Xia Yunyu and Tang Qing Cheng were leaning against Bai Ziyi. Not to be outdone, Wang Na forced her way to Bai Ziyi. At this moment, the camera was adjusted. Okay, 10 seconds countdown. Come on, sister, let's go quickly. After saying that, the two sisters Bai Xingguan and Bai Xingran ran faster than the other. He instantly got into the front row and squeezed Xia Yunyu and Tang Qing Cheng away. The two women refused to accept it, and it immediately turned into a scene of 5 people squeezing to death. Ouch! Stop crowding, sister. Hurry up, it's about to start. 3, 2, 1. Just as the countdown was about to end, a figure suddenly flashed and appeared at the end of the team. He wore a mask and a star robe, and it was the god of the Federation. Click. The picture froze, and everything seemed to be frozen in this moment. However, his appearance did scare everyone. Why are you here? Bai Ziyi was surprised. The god of the Federation waved his hand, just to join in the fun. Seeing that you wanted to take a photo, I thought of standing in a position. You won't be unwelcome. Haha, Bai Ziyi shook his head, of course not, it's best that you are here. After a brief exchange between the two. In the front row, the two sisters quickly pulled Bai Ziyi up without much explanation. Hurry up, let's go and see how the photos are taken. Without waiting for Bai Ziyi to reply or resist, he was forcibly pulled away. At this time, others followed up unwillingly. Everyone gathered in front of the camera, with smiles on their faces. Hey! This is a pretty good photo. Look at my heroic posture, it's all in the photo. I think we can print this out and give each of us a photo as a souvenir. I agree. Bai Ziyi stood in front of the camera, quietly looking at this group photo of everyone. Gradually, the picture began to enlarge. Suddenly, Bai Ziyi took a group photo and a photo of himself when he won the championship. Sitting at the table, he admired it silently, but there was not much expression on his face. Not far away, accompanied by the fragrant wind, a woman in Cheongsam walked over. She didn't care and sat down next to Bai Ziyi. Little brother Bai Ziyi, what are you looking at? Bai Ziyi was interrupted and turned his head suddenly. You are. Haha, you don't know me at all. Let me introduce myself. I am the founder of Chuangshi Group, Chairman CAI. Chairman CAI. Bai Ziyi thought for a while and suddenly realized, it turns out to be you, I have heard a lot about you. The woman smiled charmingly, you don't know. Your things are all thanks to me for promoting you. Otherwise, how could you be so popular today, really? Bai Ziyi was a little confused, but think about it. Then I really have to thank you. Haha. Chairman CAI drank some wine, his cheeks flushed, and his expression was leisurely. As the two chatted, Bai Xingguan and Bai Xingran suddenly ran over. Bai Ziyi, why are you still sitting there? Hurry up, everyone is gathered, and we are about to cut the cake. When Bai Ziyi heard that his savior had come, he stood up instantly. President CAI, it's time to cut the cake, would you like to come too? President CAI said, okay, I'll be right there. Bai Ziyi, come on, the two sisters greeted. Walked into the room. The lights were bright, the warm light was everywhere, everyone gathered together, staring at them. In the middle, a 5-layer cake was placed on a cart and slowly pushed out by a chef. When Bai Ziyi arrived, the two sisters rushed forward with cutting knives in hand, smiling brightly. Until this moment, it was still as unreal as a dream. They actually survived, and no one died on this day when they were 19 years old. On the contrary, they gathered with everyone to celebrate a new life. Bai Ziyi, this first piece of cake, I want you to cut it with us. Bai Ziyi was stunned when he heard the words, then smiled and nodded, okay. He walked forward and came between the two sisters. At this time, the light was flowing, the gold and jade were magnificent, and the sound waves were humming softly. Everyone gathered around them, and the three of them held a cutter in their hands and pointed it at the top of the cake. 3, 2, 1. The cutter fell straight down, and the whole audience cheered. Happy birthday! You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Creation of the World, Binding God Simulator at the beginning. Author, Yefeng Feng. Chapter 556. Okay. Although I don't want to admit it, the ending is still a mess. Oh. I said I would write a book with 1,000,000 words, and it was indeed completed, but it still has a bad ending. However, let me quibble in the end. It has been 9 months since the beginning of the book, and it has more than 1.1 million words. It is the longest and best book I have ever written. There is absolutely no change of author in the middle, the author typed it purely by hand. To be honest, this book has a lot of problems. I personally think that it has completely collapsed since the beginning of 500,000. Of course, you may think it is normal that it was earlier. Surrender. Because of the lack of quantity and my limited ability. After all, the author has never written a long novel, and the previous one was also 600,000. There are also comments, and I basically read them at the beginning. Starting from 300,000, there were too many scolds later, so I didn't read it much. It was really broken, and I didn't dare to open a reader group, for fear of being scolded in the group. I am so down on my knees. Also, thank you for your small gifts. I can see them in the background, moi. Omega, crab. After that, let me summarize the criticisms. The pace is slow, it's dragging, it's suppressing the combat power, and the character design is shitty, etc. First of all, the pace is slow and dragging. For example, it took 4 months to write a competition. Originally, the national competition chapter was planned to end with a maximum of 200,000 words. But because it is the biggest climax of the whole book, I want to write it very hard, very grand, etc. In the end, you also saw that I didn't grasp it, and I didn't know how to adjust the pace in the middle. Oh, oh. Then it became a competition with 500,000 words, which couldn't be more watery. Really, I couldn't stand it myself, so I had to bite the bullet and write it down. Secondly, it's suppressing the combat power. I first learned about this thing when I saw readers complaining. After understanding it, there is no quibble, it is indeed suppressing the combat power. The main reason was that I didn't know about this thing at the beginning, and I was afraid that the protagonist's combat power would collapse if he upgraded too quickly. So I subconsciously suppressed the combat power, which made people feel very uncomfortable. I knelt down again. Next, as for the bad character design, I can only say that the author has not practiced enough. In fact, this book is an attempt, because I don't know how to do character design at all. Pure newbie. T. Of course, I have to brag that the first 100,000 words are simply explosive. I, the author, don't know how to write the chapter of the mechanical planet. Omega. Ahem. Let's get back to the point. It's a pure high start and low end, and it's a mess in the later stage. I felt it was okay in the beginning, and the reaction was the most intense when the Zhongpeng chapter started. The same reason was used at that time. I wanted to write a grand feeling, but I didn't write it clearly, and wrote a history. The prelude to the Sulin Academy chapter was also too long. This is subconscious, I just started to write nonsense, and I don't know where to start if I want to adjust. I really don't read much and don't have much experience. Oh. But I was so moved to see this, they are all true fans, I just cried. I can't help it, I'll just briefly talk about the final plot and some pitfalls. I don't know how many years later. Anyway, the protagonist is promoted, and each creature corresponds to the awakening of the godhood, and there are more than a dozen invincible fields. In the end, he became the ruler of the Federation, surpassing the God King level, and became the only creator-level strongman. All the creatures under his command surpassed the outer God level, reaching the origin level, and immortal. A bunch of alien races came to invade, and the protagonist pushed them with both hands, invincible in the world. Then he was awesome, and had a bunch of confidants. That's about it. There are still many pitfalls. Let's talk slowly. First of all, the subsequent level division. In the text, it is not very clear, so I will mark it here directly. Subsequent levels of creatures: True God, Lord God, Old God, Dominator, Outer God. Subsequent levels of Creator: Lower God, Middle God, Upper God, Lord God, God King. Note, in the later stage, all the protagonists surpass the known levels. Now, let's talk about the pit. The 10 principals and 8 star commanders are all set as Lord Gods. The God of the Federation is set as God King, which is a realm that no one can reach. In the end, he will definitely be surpassed by the protagonist, there is no doubt about it. As for Wang Na, the setting is a 5th level creator, with Emperor level creatures, half a step into God. Unfortunately, the number of appearances is too small. Also, the coordinates of the Lich planet. The initial setting is that there are 10 Lich generals and the Lich God. Prepare to put it in the later stage. The protagonist uses the portal to enter the Lich planet. Purify it and start colonization. As for the setting of the Lich generals, each person represents a weapon, ranging from monarch to true god. There are swords, knives, guns, shields, bows, spells, axes, claws, hammers, cannons, and 10 great generals. The god of liches, originally the main god. But if I really want to write about it, I guess I have to raise the level. That's about it for the Lich chapter, and then there's Rebrando. This thing is also a lead, but the author didn't think much about it when he added it. It's basically about him being resurrected, and his clones are all over the universe. Later, he declared war on the Federation, and everyone tried to stop him from resurrecting, but it didn't work. In the end, facing a desperate situation, the protagonist appeared, directly saved the world, and was completely invincible. That's about it. At this point, most of the things have actually been said. Take a look, there are still a lot of things to write about later. But I still have to choose to finish it. I definitely can't throw the gun. But if I continue to write, it will be boring and long, and it will continue to drag. You are not interesting to read, and I am not interesting to write. T. The main reason is that the timeline of the national competition is too long, which leads to the collapse of the follow-up. My fault. Sorry. As for the new book, I won't go into details about the high-level martial arts theme. If it fails, it will be interrupted for more than 100,000 times, and you will be embarrassed when you read it. We are destined to be together, and I will naturally be able to find it in the bookstore. However, if the new book has a chance to exceed 500,000, I believe I can write it better this time. I must write a truly complete book. Ahem. Then. That's all I have to say. It's finally time to say goodbye. Thank you readers for your company until now. Accompany me through the darkest time. The mountains are high and the roads are long, and the road is long and difficult. This long road of life is indeed interesting. Finally. Accompany you to drink and laugh for 3,000 times, don't talk about parting sorrow. Goodbye, everyone. July 8, 2023. 1:33 a.m. Cloudy. End of this book. Window. Tabula equals window. Tabula. Tabula.push, mode, thumbs feed -01, container, tabula below article thumbnail -300x250, placement, below article thumbnail -300x250, target. Type, mix.